Russia's attempts to interfere in our electoral process. As you know, one of the primary purposes of the special counsel...
Hey everybody, Mr. Pace, thanks and welcome to a special edition of Exposed. And this morning we are watching the Attorney General go through the report, a report about the truth and the facts, and things people are accused of until they're exonerated. John Martin, pay attention, because you don't seem to get it through your thick skull that this board is doing just what the other boards did. They're preventing the release of public documents because they know those documents implicate them in a collusion and collaboration scheme that spans years. Okay? And I want to tell you this because I'm working on having a few special people show up to the next board meeting. And those people will clarify just what took place. So, excuse me. I wanted to do this video a little bit different than I've done other videos because I've looked at my other videos and I don't like the way they come off. So I redid them, and as I redid this particular video. So with the information I'm getting recently from people that used to work here, it's pretty stunning. This incident involving the one employee wasn't just one employee. Apparently, according to the state, there were complaints filed at the labor board by employees who were being harassed and maligned and just about everything else. That's a fact. They may be able to shut up the employee with a non-disclosure, but the complaints were real. 100% real. Why is that relevant? Mr. Martin, your name's going to come up in this a lot because you don't seem to understand. Your comprehension skills are zero. Okay, why is that relevant? Well, because one of the people, actually 1, 2, 3, 4 of the people still here during that regime are still running the district. That's a fact. All right? So, let's get on with it. As I've told everybody, it's what the policies and procedures and manuals. Pete Seshmo, while I was in a room with the board, that was Brad Rutan, Bob Sabota, Mr. Miller, Ted Henshit, and I can't remember who the other person was. Oh, Jennifer Barber, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was there at the time, and Pete Seshmo. Now, why is that relevant? Well, it's relevant because Pete Seshmo said something then that applies now. Special districts get sued more for this one thing than anything else. Do you know what that is? Violations of their own policies. Fact. That's what he said. I believe that. I checked around a little bit with a few other special district lawyers. They too said the same thing. When they violate their own rules and regulations and subject to a lawsuit, they can't get out of it. Woodman Hills is currently doing it right now with Cora. Now, I want to tell you why I do what I do. I will have 5 other districts, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in tow when I take this district to court over the release of those payables. And they can't stop it because I know what's in them. The information contained in those financial records is a blueprint for where the money went that John and all of you folks are bitching about that they spent on me. But John, here's where your ideological thinking is absolutely flawed and you have no idea what you're talking about. The money they expended was used to take this house. Do you comprehend that? Comprende? Do you understand that? Okay, you don't. This is not going to be over till I get to the bottom of who it was that gave the go order to start looking into my house. As I understand the facts that I have now, Lynn Bliss, who was elected to the board in the year this all started, had something to do with it big time. I wouldn't want to be Lynn Bliss. I wouldn't want to be Frank Gonzalez. I wouldn't want to be Ted Bendelow. I wouldn't want to be Rusty Green for anything in the world. I wouldn't want to be Randy Case. I wouldn't want to be any of the people that was involved in this entire scam. And that's exactly what it was. It was a scam and a scheme. Why I come in and speak clearly and concisely is because the facts back me up. Mr. Martin, you do not know how to read. You don't. I have sent you the information before. You don't remember it. It's been posted on this website. You don't read it. And you want to ignore courts, orders, facts. Another fact I learned the other day, the Alliance, the group that I beat in court, was fined another $5,600 for failing to do something. The group that lost in court for not being transparent. The CRRG lost in court for not being transparent. After Lynn Bliss and the people that were involved in it said, oh, no, we don't have to do this. Oh, no, the court said you do. It's called the Constitution. They broke the law. Killett, Pitsy, Bliss, Green, I think Case at one point, and then everybody involved in it that gave money or had something to do with it that tried to hide this, including Hale Westfall, the lawyer. That's why when you don't understand what the recording means of Hale Westfall giving a speech about ethics, he's the last one that should be doing it. Telling everybody that he would inform his clients to follow the law because his clients spent $100 grand trying to take me out and they lost. Because the courts, the judges, said they broke the law. All of them. Not me. So what did they do? They wanted to place the onus on me by making it look like I was doing what they were doing and busted doing it. That's why the case over the foreclosure went sideways once I was able to get it back and reopened on May 5th, 2016. That's when Green realized he was done. Holy shit, Mr. Pace will have his day in court with everybody and their brother testifying. End of story. What do? We need a ringer. We need a lawyer that works for me, that's worked for me, that knows what he's doing, that can shut everything down. How do we do it? Well, we know we got the staff bought and sold. That was covered. Okay? All of the staff in that office were bought and sold. That's done. Okay? All the staff over here, the ones that count, bought and sold. The ones wherever were bought and sold. They know who they are. They know who I'm talking about. The ones that were not bought and sold are the good ones. The ones that would come to me, leave me notes, leave me things, and done. Why is that relevant? John's going, well, you're just more, I don't want to be a fool. You're not a fool. You're an idiot. That's worse. You can't balance the inequities of the truth against what they're trying to sell you. Did it ever strike you as odd that during all of this, before they got elected, they were all screaming the loudest about transparency, how they were going to do all this stuff, and they didn't. They did not. Because those documents incriminate everybody, kind of like this whole Trump witch hunt. I'm technically like a Trump witch hunt. And it failed. The failure was you didn't get the House. Now, the violations of the employee handbook are done and sealed. Christina LePage and Jeremy LePage should have both been fired. And anybody else, including William Miller, who violated this book, and any board member that allowed it to happen should go. That's why the two of yous, and I've already said your names earlier, you got to take a walk. Carl and Troy, you violated the book. Done. You did it by opening your mouth because you knew the staff were acting in a certain way. And Mrs. Ring and his, will you come in now? Because you're now colluding and collaborating with Troy. Then I got covered. When you told me how you wanted to give all these people big fat raises, you shouldn't have done it. That's the proof and the truth. That's why you don't argue with me at the meetings, because you know I got it. Right? The last phone call was a pretty bad one. Right? It's the one where you told me that John Martin was going to come take you out and sent you an email that you were going to quit because you violated your oath. Yeah, he's probably right about the fact you violated your oath, but you violated your oath for a reason. A good reason. You guys started out amiable enough removing Mrs. Peterson. You didn't get rid of the rest of the problem. That would be Mrs. LePage, her husband, the ones involved in taking my signs, getting out of his truck and threatening me. That's an immediate terminable offense. You're done. No one listened. He didn't deny it, but he did it, right? I know he did it. He knows he did it. The guy behind him that saw him get out of his truck saw what he did, all over a sign. Taking my property, destroying my chances to get elected. That's $1,600, show me. We're going to get that back too. When I say we, trust me, okay? I just can't let a bad cop, a bad elected official, a public servant think he's going to protect them the way the other board members protected the people that were doing what they did. Now on to some really reasonable news. The issue over the drug stuff, that was not just one incident. As a statement that was made to me, and I want to clear it up, people have been coming to me and telling me there wasn't just one incident. It was more than one, and there was more than one person involved. This was a systemic issue to get rid of people they didn't like by putting them in fear. You gotta go. You gotta go. It doesn't matter. If they don't want to relieve you at the next board meeting, I guess we're going to have the FBI here and everybody else. It's going to be a real shit show. Okay? Someone needs to stand up for the people who had no one stand up for them. By the way, one of the ex-board members, employees, had the same problem. Okay? That's not a joke. When Corey wanted to get rid of Lisa Peterson's kid, it was intentional. How would I know about that? I wouldn't. Sherry Ringen brought it up. They said she was acting like a bitch. I don't know about that. I wasn't there. She always seemed to treat me okay when I was there, except when Mr. Miller was putting the moves on her or something, which caused the whole door block thing. It's funny. In that instance, he broke the rules. He violated the handbook, and he didn't get fired. We're going to fix that. We're going to fix all of this. What happens to me is already set in stone. I accept the responsibility of it. I'm not a coward. I don't like to fight, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I don't like to do a lot of things, but sometimes to right a wrong, you have to do things to make it right. Mr. Jerry Jacobson, to you, on a funny note, you did your job. Now, I don't have any say in the Jacobson household, but if I had a way to convince your wife to give you an extra hand job or a blow job, I would, because you did your job. I appreciate that. Without a lot of fanfare, you manned up, you sacked up, you did your job. Okay? I don't know if you're running the district, but Mrs. Rachel Hawkins is supposed to be. She's supposed to have a contract. She's making all that money, yet Troy Lukens, Troy, Kyle, Russell, Sherry, and Nicole are covering it up, along with the lawyer. The lawyer is wrong. The case history I put on my website shows you employment contracts are public record. Troy Bendelow, excuse me, same thing, I apologize, but Edward Bendelow is the problem, and Troy knows it. But that's why all of this was going on in the beginning, and I believe Mrs. Ringen when she said Troy and Ted were in cahoots. I believe it. It's the reason why Carl Lukens went off on him. I believe it. That's why I know what I know. That's why Troy shouldn't be here. He's risking a job for $100 a month. Yeah, that tells me they're hiding something. That's pretty fucked up. If you want to risk a career that you just got, over $100 a month seat, to protect the district from a lawsuit over what everybody now knows what Lynn, Frank, Mrs. Pitsy did, or Jan Pitsy, Josh Killett, Green, Case, Bendelow, Lisa Peterson, all the players were involved in. It was one big cabal. That's why a recall fixes a problem. Mr. Martin, when you're done being pissed off at the world and you actually read what I do, you won't be pissed off. So you don't care, we don't get along. I don't give a fuck. That's never bothered me. But you being ignorant of the truth does. Because you're digging your own grave right now. The lawsuit that's going to be between me and you is between me and you. You tried to help Troy Stinson take away my constitutional rights to freedom and abridge my civil rights. That's all. I'm Mr. Pace. Everybody go enjoy your day. The LePage faction is going to end up out the door when this is over. That's a fact. Corey Gabardella, for what you did and all the information I received after the fact, you and Lisa, you got to go. And, oh, Mr. Cole, for your wonderful input into the newsletter stuff and that whole debacle, yeah, I now know what you were involved in. So why don't you tell me I'm wrong to my face? Why don't you sue me along with Ted so I can get discovery and destroy you in court that fast? Because I know what I know. I'm waiting. Oh, by the way, it's the Doctorate of Respondent Superior. Let the actions of the employer speak for the employee. Oh, that may be the other way around. Let the actions of the employee speak for the... No, it is. So what happens is if when the LePages are doing what they're doing wrong and all of these people are doing this stuff, Woodman Hills is responsible no matter what. And an employee handbook, which is the Bible right now, along with the bylaws, I got you. Guys don't read. You should. It's conduct unbecoming, and it's grounds for termination that fast, and this board did none. Carl Lukens, that's why you're getting recalled. That's fact. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Oh, and keep not talking. All right? I'm sure the lawyer told you that you're going to build a case against me to take me back into court. I want you to sue me. Because Discovery's my friend and I know what to ask for. And I guarantee you I will have a lawyer for this one, and my lawyer will beat Ted. No questions asked. Hands down. By the way, in the cases that Ted was involved in, including Green's lawyers and Hale Westfall, they all lost. That's it. Fact. Have a good one. Enjoy your day. Okay? Beating me in court over a subpoena, Mr. Bendelow, isn't a win, is it? And in that particular case where you were against me, along with your buddy Troy, what was the outcome? Oh, yeah, that's right. And Mr. Stinson, I'm going to get my $400-something back. And on the final note, does anybody know if anybody uses a secure email server from any government installation around here and sends emails out to private citizens? Is that legal? And is that a complaint to the ethics office up in Washington? I just want to know. Thank you. Have a great day.